Jake Morrison sat in the corner booth of Murphy's coffee shop, his back against the wall. He could see the entire room from here. The morning rush was ending, and only a few customers remained. Jake stirred his black coffee slowly, but his eyes never stopped moving. He looked like any other man having coffee. Jeans, a plain gray shirt, and worn boots. But his hands told a different story. They were steady, marked with small scars, and his fingers moved with precision. These were the hands of someone who had held a rifle for thousands of hours. Jake checked his watch. 9:15 in the morning. He had been here for 2 hours, watching and waiting. His target should appear soon. Not a person this time, but something else. Something the people around him would never believe existed. A young mother pushed a stroller past the window. An old man read his newspaper at the next table. Normal people living normal lives. They had no idea what was really happening in their world. Jake made sure they never would. His phone buzzed once. A simple message appeared on the screen. Movement detected. Sector 7, maintain position. Jake deleted the message immediately. He took another sip of coffee and continued watching. The waitress, a friendly woman named Carol, stopped at his table. "More coffee, honey?" "Please," Jake said with a smile. He had been coming here for 3 weeks now. Carol knew his order by heart, black coffee, no sugar, and he always left a good tip. She thought he was just another regular customer. Jake's trained eyes caught something outside. A flash of silver in the trees across the street. Too quick for normal people to notice, but Jake was not normal people. He had spent 12 years in the Navy SEALs. He had learned to see things others missed. His phone buzzed again. This time it was a call. Jake looked at the number and frowned. It was not from his team. "Murphy's coffee shop, we have reports of a suspicious individual," a voice said on a police radio outside. Jake's blood went cold. Someone had called the police. He looked around the coffee shop. Everything seemed normal. Carol was wiping down tables. The old man was still reading. But something was wrong. 2 police cars pulled up outside. Jake watched 4 officers get out. They moved with purpose toward the coffee shop door. Jake knew he had 2 choices, run or stay. Running would create more problems. It would also blow his mission. Jake stayed in his seat. The officers entered the coffee shop. They looked around, studying each person. One officer, a young woman with sharp eyes, pointed toward Jake's corner booth. "Sir, could you step outside, please?" The female officer said as she approached his table. Jake looked up calmly. "Is there a problem, officer?" "We just need to ask you a few questions," she replied. Her hand rested on her radio. Jake nodded and stood up slowly. He kept his hands visible at all times. As a trained soldier, he knew how to deal with police. Stay calm, move slowly, and follow orders. Outside, more officers had arrived. 6 patrol cars now surrounded the coffee shop. Jake realized this was more than a simple check. Someone had reported him as a serious threat. "Turn around and place your hands behind your back," the female officer said. Jake complied without question. The cold metal handcuffs clicked around his wrists. Other customers from the coffee shop pressed against the windows, watching the drama unfold. "You have the right to remain silent." The officer began reading Jake his rights. Jake said nothing. He could not say anything. His mission was classified at the highest levels. Even if they arrested him, even if they charged him with a crime, he could not explain why he was really here. As they put him in the police car, Jake caught another flash of silver in the trees. His target was still out there. And now, because of this arrest, innocent people might die. Detective Lisa Park sat across from Jake Morrison in the small interrogation room. A metal table separated them, and a single light hung from the ceiling. Jake's handcuffs had been removed, but he kept his hands folded on the table. His eyes were calm, almost peaceful. Lisa had been a police detective for 6 years. She had questioned drug dealers, thieves, and murderers. But something about this man was different. He sat too still, breathed too slowly. Most people in this room were nervous or angry. Jake Morrison looked like he was waiting for a bus. "So, Jake Morrison," Lisa said, opening his file. "Navy SEAL, honorable discharge 3 years ago. Clean record, No arrests, no trouble with the law. Jake nodded but said nothing. The coffee shop owner says you've been coming there every day for 3 weeks. Same time, same table, always alone. Always watching the street. Lisa leaned forward. What were you watching for? I like coffee, Jake said simply. Lisa studied his face, no emotion, no tells. She had never seen anyone so controlled. Someone called in a tip. Said you had military equipment in a bag? Night vision, communication gear? Strange things for a coffee date. Jake remained silent. We searched your bag, Lisa continued. Found some interesting items? Equipment that costs more than most people make in a year. Where did you get it? I am not required to answer that question, Jake said quietly. Lisa felt her patience slipping. She had dealt with smart guys before, people who thought they knew the law better than the police. But Jake was not being smart or difficult. He was just empty, like a wall. Look, Jake, I'm trying to help you here. People don't carry that kind of gear unless they're planning something. Military equipment, surveillance tools, it looks bad. Jake's eyes met hers for the first time. I understand your concern, Detective. Park, Lisa blinked. She had not told him her name. Her nameplate was turned away from him. How do you know my name? Your coffee cup? You wrote your name on it this morning at the station? You like 2 sugars, no cream? Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. She had been at the coffee station before coming to work. But the station was on the 2nd floor, and Jake had been in the back of a police car. Unless he had been watching the police station too. Have you been watching us? The police station? Jake was quiet again. Lisa tried a different approach. Your military record shows you served in special operations. Classified missions? That's impressive work. Thank you. What kind of missions? I cannot discuss classified information. Lisa slammed her hand on the table. The sound echoed in the small room. Jake did not even blink. This is not the military anymore, Jake. This is civilian police. If you're planning something in my city, I need to know about it. I am not planning anything that would hurt innocent people, Jake said. Then what are you planning? Jake looked at the ceiling, then back at Lisa. I cannot tell you that. Lisa stood up and paced around the small room. She had been doing this job long enough to know when someone was hiding something big. But Jake was not hiding something criminal. This felt different. Your hands? Lisa said suddenly. Show me your hands. Jake placed his hands flat on the table. Lisa examined them carefully, calluses in strange places. Small cuts that had healed recently? The kind of marks that came from handling specialized equipment. Sniper? Lisa said. It was not a question. Jake's eyes flickered for just a moment. The first real reaction she had seen from him. You're still active, aren't you? This is not about something you did 3 years ago. This is happening right now. Jake said nothing, but Lisa knew she was right. This man was not retired. He was working. The question was, working for who? Before Lisa could ask another question, there was a knock on the door. Sergeant Martinez stuck his head in. Detective Park, you need to see this. We have visitors. 2 days earlier, Jake Morrison had received his mission briefing in a basement room with no windows. The walls were thick concrete, and the only light came from a single lamp on the table. Dr. Elena Vasquez sat across from him with a folder, marked with red letters that meant top secret. They are back, Dr. Vasquez said, opening the folder. 3rd time this month. Jake looked at the photographs she spread on the table. Strange marks in the dirt that looked like symbols. Trees with burn marks 15 feet off the ground. And footprints that were too long and too narrow to be human. Same pattern as before? Jake asked. Exactly the same. They land in remote areas first, then move closer to populated zones. We think they are studying us. Jake picked up one photograph. It showed a woman standing next to her car on a country road. Her eyes were blank, staring at nothing. How many people this time? 7 that we know of. All found the same way. Standing still for hours, then they wake up with no memory of what happened. Jake had seen this before in other cities, other countries. People would disappear for a few hours, then return with no memory of where they had been. But they were Different afterward, quieter, more careful, like they had seen something that scared them deep inside. The abductions are getting closer to the city center, Dr. Vasquez continued. We think they are preparing for something bigger. Jake studied a map of the city. Red dots marked where people had been taken. The dots formed a circle around the downtown area, getting closer each time. What do they want? Jake asked. We are not sure. But every person they take comes back knowing things they should not know. Sarah Mitchell, the school teacher from last week, she suddenly knows 17 different languages. John Davis, the mechanic, he can now solve math problems that college professors struggle with. Jake frowned. They are putting knowledge into people's minds, or taking knowledge out. We cannot be sure which. Dr. Vasquez pulled out another photograph. This one showed Jake's coffee shop from above. They have been seen in this area 3 times. Always near places where many people gather. We think this is their next target. Jake understood his mission now. Sit and watch. Wait for them to show themselves. Stop them before they could take. More people. What exactly am I looking for? Jake asked. They do not use ships like in the movies. They are much smarter than that. They appear as flashes of light, silver reflections that move too fast for normal eyes to follow. But you are not normal, Jake. Your training will let you see them. Dr. Vasquez closed the folder. If you see one, do not engage directly. Call for backup and maintain distance. We still do not understand their full capabilities, Jake nodded. He had fought human enemies in 12 countries. He had survived battles that would have killed most men. But this was different. This enemy was not human. One more thing, Dr. Vasquez said. They seem to know when they are being watched by military personnel. Police officers, security guards, even private citizens can observe them without being detected, but soldiers, especially trained soldiers like you, they sense immediately. Then how am I supposed to watch them? Hide in plain sight. Pretend to be a civilian, act normal. Drink coffee, read newspapers, do whatever normal people do. Jake had spent 3 weeks perfecting his cover. He learned the names of the regular customers at Murphy's coffee shop. He memorized the waitress's schedule. He became part of the normal world, invisible and ordinary, but someone had noticed him anyway. Someone had called the police. Now his mission was in danger, and innocent people might pay the price. In the interrogation room, Jake knew he could not explain any of this to Detective Park. The truth was too strange, too dangerous. Some secrets had to be kept, even from good people who were just trying to do their jobs. Detective Lisa Park walked out of the interrogation room and stopped in the hallway. The police station had become very quiet. Too quiet. Officers who should have been answering phones and typing reports were standing at their desks, looking toward the front entrance. What is going on? Lisa asked Sergeant Martinez. You need to see this for yourself, he said, pointing toward the lobby. Lisa walked to the front of the station and looked through the glass doors. 3 black cars sat in the parking lot. Not regular cars, but the kind that government officials used. Men in dark suits stood next to each vehicle, scanning the area like they expected trouble. Police Chief Thompson emerged from his office, adjusting his tie. Lisa had never seen him look nervous before, but sweat was forming on his forehead. Chief, what is happening? Lisa asked. Before he could answer, the front doors opened. A woman in military uniform walked in, followed by 2 other officers. The woman wore more stars on her collar than Lisa had ever seen in person. 4 silver stars caught the light as she moved. The entire police station went silent. I am General Patricia Kane, United States Air Force, the woman announced. Her voice was clear and strong, the kind of voice that was used to giving orders and having them followed. I need to speak with your commanding officer immediately. Chief Thompson stepped forward. I am Chief Thompson. How can we help you, General? General Kane looked around the station, taking in every detail. You are holding one of my men, Lieutenant Commander Jake Morrison. I am here to discuss his immediate release. Lisa felt her stomach drop. Jake Morrison was military after all. But not just any military. A general did not show up personally unless something very important was happening. General, with respect, Mr. Morrison was arrested for suspicious activity. We have procedures to follow, Chief Thompson said. I understand your procedures, Chief, but this situation involves national security. I need to speak with you privately. Chief. Thompson nodded toward his office. Of course. Detective Park, you are the arresting officer. Join us. As they walked toward the office, Lisa noticed the other military officers who had come with General Kane. One was a tall man with captain's bars on his uniform. He had the same calm look in his eyes that Jake Morrison had. The same controlled stillness in Chief Thompson's office. General Kane closed the door and turned to face them both. She did not sit down, even when offered a chair. What I am about to tell you cannot leave this room, General Kane said. Lieutenant Commander Morrison is involved in an operation that is vital to the safety of this city and this country. What kind of operation? Lisa asked. General Kane studied Lisa for a long moment. The kind that keeps people safe while they sleep at night? The kind that prevents disasters most people never hear about. Chief Thompson leaned forward. General, we need more than that. My detective found military equipment, surveillance gear. Someone called in a tip about suspicious behavior. The person who called in that tip may have just put hundreds of lives at risk, General Kane said quietly. Lisa felt cold. What do you mean? Commander Morrison was not planning anything harmful. He was preventing something harmful from happening. General Kane walked to the window and looked out at the street. There are threats in this world that your department is not equipped to handle. Threats that require special training, special equipment, and absolute secrecy. Are we talking about terrorists? Chief Thompson asked. Something much worse than terrorists, General Kane replied without turning around. The captain who had come with General Kane stepped forward. Chief, Detective, Commander Morrison has saved more lives than you will ever know. He has done things that would give most people nightmares, all to protect innocent civilians. Lisa thought about Jake's hands, his calm eyes, the way he had known her name. He is still active duty, is not he? Yes, General Kane said. And right now, while he sits in your interrogation room, the threat he was monitoring is still out? There. Chief Thompson stood up. What threat? General Kane finally turned around. Her eyes were hard like steel. The kind that could make your worst day look like a vacation. General Kane sat down across from Chief Thompson and Detective Park. The small office felt even smaller with her presence. She placed a thick folder on the desk, marked with symbols Lisa did not recognize. Before I explain anything else, I owe you both an apology. General Kane began. This situation is my fault. I failed to properly coordinate with local authorities. Chief Thompson looks 4-star generals did not usually apologize to small town police chiefs. Commander Morrison was following my direct orders, General Kane continued. He was conducting a surveillance operation that I authorized. The equipment your officers found belongs to the United States military. Lisa leaned forward. What kind of surveillance operation requires that level of equipment? The kind that saves lives? General Kane replied. Commander Morrison has been watching for threats that most people would not believe exist. General Kane opened her folder and pulled out several photographs. She placed them on the desk carefully. Lisa looked at the images and frowned. They showed empty fields, city streets, and parking lots. Nothing seemed unusual. What am I looking at? Lisa asked. Look closer, General Kane said. Focus on the shadows. Lisa studied the photographs again. In one image, she noticed something strange. A shadow that did not match anything around it. In another photo, there was a reflection in the store window that showed something that was not there. I do not understand. Chief Thompson said General Kane pulled out another photograph. This one showed a woman standing next to her car. Her eyes were blank, staring at nothing. Maria Santos, age 34, mother of 2, found standing in this exact spot for 4 hours last Tuesday. She has no memory of how she got there or what happened to her. Lisa felt a chill. Was she hurt? Not physically, but she came back different. She could suddenly speak languages she had never learned. She knew things about science and mathematics that she had never studied. Chief Thompson looked confused. How is that possible? We're still trying to understand that, General Kane said, but we know it is not natural. And we know it is happening more often. General Kane placed more photographs different locations, but all with the same blank stare. 15 people in the last month, all found the same way, all changed afterward. Lisa picked up one of the photographs. You think someone is doing this to them? Not. Someone? Something? The room went quiet. Lisa could hear her own heartbeat. Commander Morrison was positioned to observe and report any unusual activity in the downtown area, General Kane explained. His mission was to identify threats before they could harm more civilians. What kind of threats? Chief Thompson asked. General. Kane was quiet for a long moment. The kind that most people are not ready to hear about. Lisa thought about Jake's calm eyes, his steady hands, the way he had sat so still in the interrogation room. He was protecting people. Yes, and while he sits in your custody, those people are unprotected. Chief Thompson stood up and walked to his window. General, this is difficult to accept. You're asking us to believe in something that sounds like science fiction. I'm not asking you to believe anything, General Kane replied. I'm asking you to release my officer so he can continue his mission. Lisa looked at the photographs again. The blank faces, the impossible shadows, the reflections that showed nothing. How many people know about this? Very few. And it must stay that way. Panic would make everything worse. General Kane gathered the photographs and put them back in her folder. Commander Morrison has dedicated his life to protecting people who will never know his name. He has made sacrifices that would break most men. And he has never asked for recognition or thanks. He just sits there and watches. Lisa sighed quietly. He does whatever is necessary to keep innocent people safe. Even if it means being arrested. Even if it means being misunderstood. Chief Thompson turned back to face them. What do you need from us? Release Commander Morrison immediately. And forget this conversation ever happened. Lisa thought about the man in the interrogation room. The man who had remained silent to protect secrets that were bigger than all.